Okay. Good morning. Welcome to South Church. Welcome to those present here, whether you're new or you've been coming a while. Welcome to those online watching us on streaming. And no matter what your background is, no matter your beliefs, no matter whom you choose to love, no matter what brings you here today, whether it's joy or sorrow, curiosity or searching, you are welcome in the sacred space. We come together, each one of us, on our own path, yet enriched by one another. My name is Anna Howard. I am one of the worship associates here at South Church. South Church is served by co-ministers, Reverend Ellen Quadgrass and Kirsten Hunter. Both of them are on, I guess, vacation. Well, we gave them a day off. So I'm delighted to introduce you to Reverend Daniel Gregoire, who is a minister, called minister of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Grafton and Upton in Massachusetts, a church first gathered in 1728. He hasn't been there since then. He was called to serve UUSGU in 2016, and since that time, the church has grown in membership and vitality. Reverend Daniel was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. His parents immigrated from Haiti in the 1970s, and he was brought up in a vibrant Afro-Caribbean setting. He's a graduate of the Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York. He has served congregations in New York, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. Reverend Daniel enjoys historic architecture. Oh, Portsmouth is for you. Visiting pastoral landscapes, reading 19th century poetry. He lives in the 1820s house in Grafton, Massachusetts with his gorgeous wife, Kate, an accomplished scholar of German language and culture, and their precocious daughter, Grace, they're both here, who is 2 going on 12. They share their home with an adorable and highly intelligent calico cat, Emma, sometimes called the Duchess. Reverend Daniel is also a proud big brother through the Big Brother, Big Sister program of Central Massachusetts, and an active member of his local Freemasons Lodge. The music is offered by our music director, Jonny Peiffer, and Cathy Okhuysen. Thank you very much. Special thanks to Ben Abbott, our AV technician, who ensures that we are seen and heard near and far. For those who may need assistance, the ushers are available to help with personal listening devices, especially if you're in the back and the fan is right behind you. You might feel like you're in the motor of the airplane, so you might need those listening devices. And we have large print hymnals. After the service, we invite all of you, please come and join us in fellowship for coffee or tea or lemonade right outside. And it is important to acknowledge that we are in a building constructed over 200 years ago, and that building stands on the unceded land of the Wabanaki and Pennacook people, who were the steward of this place for generations. The paradox we must hold is that we now gather in a space built on injustice, yet we choose to use it for the work of love. May we carry this truth in our hearts, seek new ways to live in right relationships with the earth and its people, and be inspired toward justice and healing. Please look at your order of service for all the announcements. This is a dynamic church and something is always going on. And Reverend Allen specifically asked me to remind you that there is a poetry gathering next Sunday after the service. So please bring a poem you love, a poem you wrote, for some sharing, conversation, and storytelling. Let's begin.
When the summer sun is shining over golden land and sea, and the flowers in the hedgerow welcome butterfly and bee, then my open heart is glowing, full of warmth for everyone, and I feel an inner beauty which reflects the summer sun.
As we light the chalice, we share these words by Catherine Esty. Little flame, light the tender kindling of our souls, as soon as a roaring blaze shall be of warmth and love and community. From this little spark, may a fire of passion spread from heart to heart and light our way, sweet spirit, and light our way. Now please rise and join us in reciting our mission statement that is printed in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Thank you. It was June 2016. The Unitarian Universalist Society of Grafton and Upton, where I had been a member by then for 10 years, was in the midst of interviewing a promising young minister from Pennsylvania. Over the 3 days, we welcomed him with curiosity and hope, wondering whether this could be a match. But just when he was about to leave for home, the world shifted. News broke that in the early hours of June 12th, a gunman had entered Pulse nightclub in Orlando and unleashed one of the deadliest mass shootings in our nation's history. 49 people, mostly queer, mostly Latinx, were murdered. 53 more were wounded. The heartbreak reverberated across the country and into the heart of Grafton. We were stunned, grieving, searching for meaning and action. I was a member of the Social Justice Committee then, and we quickly called for a vigil on the Grafton Commons so we can just be together. But we didn't know who could lead us through such raw pain, who could find the words that where no words could be found. So we all turned to this young guest minister, still a stranger to many of us, and without hesitation, he said, "Of course I'm in." So imagine that, New England Common, traditional New England Common with a white gazebo glowing in summer dusk. The community came together, over 100 people gathered of all ages, religions, identities. They gathered in shared sorrow. Candles were donated by the Grafton Lions Club. The members of UUSGU passed them around from hand to hand. They flickered across tear-streaked faces. The members of the Islamic Center of Worcester arrived to show their solidarity. And in the center stood this young man, his voice steady but tender. And he named the pain we carried. He said, "We are broken and burned by the pain of violence and homophobia." He read aloud the names of all 49 lives taken that night, innocent victims, martyrs, heroes. And he reminded us, may their light live in us. We sang through the ache, we sang Amazing Grace, We Shall Overcome, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Those songs rose like prayers bringing us together. In that moment, something special happened. We didn't just see that the leader he was, we felt it. His courage and compassion made space for all of us. Needless to say, we called him to be our minister. Since then, he's made a home in Grafton, found his love, got married, welcomed a beautiful daughter into the world. And this is why it's such a joy and kind of like a full circle moment for me to welcome him here today, to my second spiritual home here at South Church. His presence here bridges two beloved communities, and I'm reminded that the threads of love and justice and spirit stretch across time and space, connecting us in ways we never fully realize until we do. So now please rise as you're able and join us in singing hymn 95, There Is More Love Somewhere.
Good morning. Now is a time in our service, good morning, Grace, that's my daughter. Now is a time in our service for folks of all ages, children of all ages. You're welcome to join me on the chancel steps for a very special story. come on up, all the way up, gather around. Hey. All right. Thank you for coming and joining me. So this story is it's really near and dear to my heart. It's one that I first heard way, way, way back in the 1980s, which is a long time ago, apparently. It's actually one of the 100 most beloved stories told in America. And the title of this story is Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, and it's by a Brooklyn native author, John Steptoe. And I'm going to do a version of Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. So a very long time ago, in far away Eastern Africa, just outside of the great city of Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe means the place of the stone houses, and this city was unique in that it had stone houses in it. Outside of that city, in a village, there lived a father and his 2 daughters. We don't know what happened to the mother, but it's the fathers and the 2 daughters. The father's name is Mufaro. Can you say Mufaro? Mufaro. And his 2 beautiful daughters, their names were Manyara, say it, Manyara and Anyasha. Can you say that? Anyasha. 2 beautiful names for 2 very beautiful girls. Now, these 2 daughters, they spent a lot of time together tending the garden patch. But sometimes, as happens with sisters or brothers or any siblings, they often fought with each other. And Manyara was particularly mean to her sister, Anyasha. Manyara would often walk around saying, one day I'm going to be queen and you are going to be a servant in my household. That's kind of an awful thing to say. And Yasha would reply very kindly that if that's what happens, I will be very happy to be a servant and to help you in your household when you're a queen. Now, Mufaro, the father, was oblivious. He didn't know what was going on, which is too bad. He should have been paying more attention. But anyways, this one day, a messenger came to the village with this proclamation. The king of Great Zimbabwe is looking for a wife, and he wants to choose from among the most beautiful and intelligent women in the kingdom. And so the young women were invited to go to the city. Manyara went to her father, Mufaro, and said, Father, I should go to the city, and Yasha should stay here and take care of you. Mufaro said, well, that's an interesting idea, but I think you both should go. This is a really big decision, and I believe that both of you should make the journey. We thought that was the end of it, but it actually wasn't. So that night, after the messenger left, Manyara decided to go to the city on her own. She had never left her village before, and in between her village and the big city was a giant forest filled with all sorts of creatures. She decided to go at night. So, Manyara makes the journey on foot, and in the forest, in the dark of night, she encounters a young boy. And the boy pleads with her. He says, I'm so hungry, would you please give me a bite to eat? And Manyara, what do you think she said? No! I am on my way to be queen. I don't have time to take care of people like you. And she scurries along. Yeah, there's one more. So, as she makes this journey in the forest, she encounters an old lady. And the old lady has some important advice for her. It's okay, Pumpkin. Has some important advice for her. She says, as you go, you're going to see some trees, and the trees are going to appear to be laughing at you. You must not laugh back at those trees. Just ignore them. And sure enough, as Manyara makes her way through the forest, she encounters the trees, and they appear to be laughing at her. And maybe you can help me in the laughter. They were laughing like this. Ha, 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 ha. Can you laugh? Ha, 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 ha. So she replies to the trees, I am on my way to be queen. I laugh at you. Ha, 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 ha. And she hurries along. And then she encounters a third person. And this person is indeed a little bit scary. It's an old man, but instead of his head being on his head, he's carrying it on his arm. Oh, that's a funny sight. Manyara doesn't even look at him. She just keeps going. I'm on my way to be queen, she says. I'm on my way to be queen. Meanwhile, back at the village, it's daytime. It's the morning. And the father is preparing the villagers to accompany both of his daughters to go to the big city. But then a commotion arises. Someone's missing. Where's Manyara? They notice some footprints going into the forest, and they assume, well, she's gone off without us. So Enyasha and the rest of the villagers make their way into that same forest, but at daytime. And in the forest, Enyasha encounters a little boy. And the boy says, I am so hungry. Would you give me a bite to eat? And Enyasha says, of course. And she gives him a pack of sunflower seeds. And he's so happy. He just vanishes in his joy. Then she encounters an old lady. And the old lady, filled with wisdom, just points the way to the city. No laughing trees. She makes her way down to the river and then up a hill. And on the prospect of the hill, she can look out and she can, in fact, see the great city of Zimbabwe. And she is filled with wonder and joy and delight. What am I going to see in this great city? And as she and the wedding party are making their way down the hill, she encounters her sister Manyara, who runs up to her and says, no, do not go to that city. There is a great serpent there with 5 heads. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads. And he knew everything about me, and he said that I wasn't a good person. And so I ran, because if I didn't run away, he would have eaten me, and that would be bad. And so I've come to tell you. And Manyara pleads with her father, please don't let Enyasha go to the big city. Don't let her go, don't let her go. But Enyasha says, I've come this far, and I'm going to see for myself. And so she makes her way into the big city, and she makes her way into the great big reception hall of the king. And on the throne, she finds not a great big serpent, but she finds a little tiny garden snake. The garden snake's name was Anyoka, which actually means snake in the Shona language. Anyoka, the snake, was actually her friend. A while back, she had discovered a snake had come into her garden. And rather than shoo the snake away or try to trap it, she said, you know what? I'm glad you're in my garden. You're going to keep away any pests that might come and eat my food. And so she was very delighted to see that snake on the throne. And the snake spoke to her. The snake said, I know you, and you know me. I am indeed the garden snake that has kept pests out of your yard. I was also the boy in the forest who you gave a snack. And I was also the wise old woman whose advice you followed and that led you here. Because I know your heart, the snake says, and because I know your kindness and your generosity, I think that you are indeed the most worthy person, most worthy girl in the kingdom. And because of that, I would like you to be my wife, if you choose to be my wife. And the snake transformed, and he was a beautiful king. And Enyasha thought about it. She had time to think about it, and she said, you know what? I think I will accept, and I will become your wife. And so there was a great party in the village. Everyone was invited to celebrate the king and his new queen and the newest servant in the household. Her name was Manyara. So the moral of this story, and there are many morals of this story, but the thing that I want you to take away is that it really is important to be kind, and it's important to slow down and listen, and to help where you can and when you can. And all of those acts, both small acts of kindness, they do add up in the end. Can you remember that? To be kind? All right. Well, now we will sing you off to your religious education program just outside today. Thank you.
It's time for the Offertory. During the month of July, our collection will be shared with Mainspring. Mainspring, through a centralized collaborative model incorporating many areas of social service partners, Mainspring offers a dignified, efficient, and effective model of care that empowers individuals to navigate their pathway out of poverty. The offering will now be gratefully received.
I invite you now to join me in a time of prayer and meditation. Take this opportunity to become aware of where you are, your bodies in pews or watching online, aware of your breath, aware of other breaths around you, aware of the heat in this moment, aware of the holy presence among us. Please pray with me. Spirit of life and of love, God of many names and no name at all, we gather as a community in this historic meeting house to celebrate the virtues of leadership and compassion and kindness. We gather because we see so much that disturbs us in the world and in our lives. We also gather because we are motivated by hope, motivated by love, and motivated by a sense of the future. Help us to be present to all that is our lives. Help us to move forward with a sense of faith and a sense of purpose and a sense of fulfilling our destiny, our destinies together. This community extends its heart and its love to those nearest to us and those around the world who are hurting and who are heartbroken. We extend this energy of love and caring to ourselves and to all forms of life. We pray for the healing of ourselves, the healing of our communities, and the healing of our world. We ask for these things and so much more in this sacred silence. Let us be silent together. Thank you. Amen, and blessed be. As the Spirit moves you, I invite you to come to the front of the sanctuary to light a candle of remembrance, a candle of joy or of sorrow, knowing that these things are also held in this beloved community. to light one final candle for all of those joys, sorrows, and transitions that remain close to our hearts. I'd like to begin by thanking Anna for inviting me to come here. This is such a special privilege, and it very much is like a full circle experience. 10 years ago, all of that happened. Yeah. Our theme today is leadership, and what does leadership look like for us as a people of faith? We're mindful of the fact that this time of the year finds us celebrating the anniversary of our nation's independence with the 4th of July. And we gather each in our own way to celebrate the meanings and the promises of freedom that come from living in this land and that comes from being American. What does it mean to be a leader? What sort of characteristics of leadership do we want to see as Unitarian Universalists in our nation's leaders? What characteristics do we want to see in our civic leaders, on our school boards, on our town councils, in our state senate, and in the Capitol? Unitarian Universalists have often, and I think rightly, been described as the love people. And on the night of that vigil in Grafton Common, many of the attendees were wearing the yellow Stand on the Side of Love t-shirt. Now, Side with Love t-shirts. We often show up to protests and to vigils with those yellow t-shirts and banners. Our association has really lifted up the ethic of love by taking the decision to change the bylaws of our association to put love at the center of all that we do. But what does this love look like? Well, this center of love has these distinct characteristics around them, 6 value statements that in a way are an example of love in action. Love in action. So love in action for us as Unitarian Universalists has these 6 distinctive characteristics. There's the equity part of love, the generosity, the sharing part of love, the interdependent part of love, the justice part of love, the pluralism part of love, many different beliefs, and the transformation part of love. Our faith calls us to cultivate an ethic of love that manifests itself in service, as we heard in our Time for All Ages story. Leadership for us is ultimately one where we are guided by our hearts to do what we believe is right. And whether that right thing is to give the young boy a packet of sunflower seeds, to follow the advice of someone who might be often ignored, or just the willingness to go into dangerous and uncharted territories. Being led by our hearts invites us into new possibilities and new ways of seeing things. It puts us in touch with our own vulnerability, and it allows us to touch with the most exquisite gentleness the vulnerability of others. Being led by our hearts offers us the power to be present and an awareness of our own gifts and the gifts that others bring. To be led with heart is to be led towards service and deep caring and special attention. And when we see those things, we know that that is what leadership looks like or should look like. As we saw in the African tale, Mufaro's Beautiful Daughter by John Steptoe, and I should say that John Steptoe took ancient narratives that were relayed to missionaries and to sociologists in the 19th century and retold them as a modern-day fable. As I mentioned, I was very fortunate to first hear that as a child in the 1980s. This book, Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, has been in print for over 40 years, and it's a book that actually, if you don't have it in your collection, in your children's collection, I encourage you to just get it today. Get it today. Go to your local bookstore and get it today. The drawings in this book are beautiful. For many people, it's a first-time education on Zimbabwe, the great city in East Africa. But more than that, it presents a vision of leadership that I think is very, very important, is one that has inspired me after all these years, and I believe that there is a message for all of us in the example of Enyasha and her being guided by the heart towards generosity and towards new opportunities. My practice of leadership as a person and a minister is deeply informed by the example of Enyasha. My spiritual practice is one of active acts of kindness, both small and large. It's a concern for others, and it's a deepening of my attention, really, and listening to others. Just being present and listening. Now, I say practice because it is indeed that. It's not something that I've mastered. It's something that I work on every day. It's something that I often fail at and then try and try again, trying to be present, trying to listen, trying to be generous. We can see something of all of our journeys in Enyasha's journey from her village garden to the great halls of the Stone City. To make that kind of journey that takes us from the humble beginnings to the great city involves a willingness to embrace discomfort, to welcome change, and to find our footing even in times of great uncertainty. The thing that makes it possible for Enyasha, and the thing that makes it possible for me, is that willingness to be guided by our hearts. And maybe a little bit of good fortune. And a lot of faith, leaning on our faith as Unitarian Universalists, knowing that we do indeed place love at the center of that faith, and that we allow for that love to have so many distinct manifestations. As we look at our country today, as I look at our country today, as I think about the fact that in 250 years, that anniversary of our independence will happen next year, that we've accomplished a lot as a nation. Just yesterday, I had returned to Grafton. My family and I were staying in Maine, returned to Grafton for our annual Reading Frederick Douglass Together event. This is an event that takes place on the town common, and we invite civic leaders and just regular people to come and read excerpts from Frederick Douglass's 1859, What Does the 4th of July Mean to the Slave speech. And each time we read that speech, something new comes to the surface for me and for the attendees. We have truly come a long way since 1859 and the Civil War. And yet, here we are today in a country where we are seeing examples of leadership that seems to be turning back the clock in so many ways. Seeing our elected officials really embody vices rather than virtues, vindictiveness, and cowardice rather than courage in leadership. I think of the plight of the Haitian community here in the United States, as was mentioned in my bio. My family is from Haiti. And I think of how, and perhaps we've seen examples of this on the news or in social media, how ICE agents are waiting for folks after they have their court appointments for asylum-seeking purposes to arrest them, folks who have followed the rules up until that point and are not given an opportunity to see their asylum claims answered. It makes my stomach churn to see examples of folks from all over the world being treated without inherent worth and dignity, a core principle of our faith. And all of this is a kind of performance, a kind of psychological theater to get folks to not cross the southern border anymore. My stomach churns with the news lately as I see a grasping and rapacious, entitled, saber-rattling administration at the helm of our country right now. These are not examples of leadership that I would wish to follow. Now, granted, some of that may be expedient and may offer some short-term benefit, but in the end, it only fuels a cycle of resentment and retribution and humiliation. This winner-takes-all mentality that we see in certain quarters actually guarantees that we're all going to be losers in the end. We are, in fact, seeing far too many manyaras, the wicked sister, in power, pushing their way into the capital city, pushing their way into authority. And not enough Enyashas who find a way to bring folks along with them. As Unitarian Universalists, we are indeed the love people. We put love at the center of what we do. We see love as a thing that will inspire and motivate us towards building a nobler world, a world more noble than the world that we know today. And I'm reminded of a sermon that Martin Luther King gave in 1968, the Drum Major speech, when he describes a form of greatness that we ultimately want to see in our leadership. He describes this greatness as servant leadership. He says that anyone can be great, in fact, because anyone can serve. All you need is a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. So we gather in this community, in these kinds of communities, here in Portsmouth, in Grafton, and elsewhere, to generate our souls again with love, to acquire a heart full of grace, to be led by that heart into acts of service. Being a member of a community much like this one allows us to cultivate the skills that we need to face the challenges that we see in the world. The way that we cultivate our heart so that it can in fact be guided by love is to engage in spiritual practices. Practices that invite us into prayer, into meditation, into candle lighting, into singing together, into practicing generosity by sharing our plate with community organizations. It's gathering in beloved communities to be seen, to be known, and to be empowered, which is what we are here to do. So friends, on this Independence Day weekend, we could be anywhere in the world right now, but here we are in this community, refueling ourselves, regenerating our souls so that we can come back stronger and more powerful, so that we can be guided again by our hearts. And take courage. I think that what we are seeing right now, I believe what we are seeing right now, is a system in collapse because something new is being revealed, something new is coming up to the surface. We are going in a new direction, and the collapse that we are seeing around us, as ugly as it is is the thing that is causing a new social order, a new economic order, a new political order, and a new religious order to rise up. A new form of greatness is arising among us, even now, and each of us is playing a part in shepherding and birthing that thing into being. Each of us serving as midwives and guides to realizing our national and collective destinies. And may we be guided by our hearts in doing so. Blessed be, and amen. I now invite us to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our closing hymn in the Teal hymnal number 1020. 1020, Woyaya. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we will get there. Number 1020.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Woyaya, 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 woyaya. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Woyaya, 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 woyaya.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out to the community until we are together again.
I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and we are going to engage in a benediction. It's participatory. And my congregation is much smaller than this one, but I think that you can accomplish this too. I'm going to invite you to form a circle along the perimeter of the sanctuary. So go out to the outermost aisles, and we're going to form a circle. You can hold hands if you like. You can put hands on shoulders. You can put your hands together in blessing. We are going to form a circle and sing Kumbaya. No, I'm kidding. We're going to form a circle. We can do it all the way around the sanctuary. And I'm going to be part of the circle. May I hold your hand? All right. All right. Excellent. Excellent. We can do it. Oh, this is terrific. This is such a beautiful ritual. And it's an embodiment of the circle of life and the circle of community and just the power of community, that we're not in this alone, that we can make this world a better place. So these words are from the Reverend Bruce Southworth of Community Church in New York City. And they're based on the introduction to Goethe's Faust. Whatever it is we dream we can do or believe we can do, we can begin it this day. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. So let us be bold in our living and in our loving, bold in our giving and in our forgiving, so that the world awaited becomes more nearly the world attained. Go in peace and be a blessing to this world. Amen.